as again their world was defined by agreements and projections made prior to their current position, and seems the agreement was of lengthy lifespans, and so we have all these individuals trapped in virtual reality worlds with variations of decided upon and unconsciously maintained rule sets which made up the specifics of their world. Interestingly, there were some slightly more awake individuals who began to see more than the programmed world that had their personal self encased within. Some began to realize that those they destroyed in this game were actual individuals, and they sought to try and bring a stop to this slaughter. But this was amusingly considered a conspiracy theory. But they made traction, and as I watched all this now from an objective position, and not from the positions of any individuals, I witnessed a growing unease about the nature of their reality, and up until now what they had considered as simple cannon fodder were perhaps more than just targets. It was hard for them to appreciate this, as the individuals in the labyrinth were so constricted, and it was hard to imagine how they could be actual beings. But they were. They had a real self, with the ears too, and it was simply their created personal self and consciousness in creation that was operating from such a very limited and self-decided position, a little like a tree as an example. How people will disregard trees and plant life, and not consider them to be individuals on the basis of their limitation of motion and existence from a human's perspective. All the easier to cut them down if they are not reflecting what individuals consider to be ways of being that are similar to their own. And so I had the impression, as I was saying, of not just a standard virtual reality simulation within the creational simulator, but multitudes of them designed through agreement, and people who remain unaware and having to experience the unconscious effects of their unawareness will be aligning themselves now with whatever virtual reality best fits with what they are projecting now in terms of ideas and agreement. Some far more restricting than others, but all restricted to a greater degree than the lifetimes we currently have. Either people assume these robot forms or are born into them and then are transitioned to a virtual reality within them, uniquely catered to their projections and created consciousness. And again, even in such scenarios, people do exhibit degrees of awareness and waking up, but a far harder circumstance to do so within. Imagine trying to come to grips with and recognize that not only are you in a simulator for ears recognitional purposes, but you are in a robotic body within that on the physical level, and within a virtual reality within that mechanized shell. This would then, in fact, be a theoretical sixth life level. The physical life level was level number 1, and yes, these individuals would have the robotized physical vehicles there, but now they are locked in a virtual world within the mechanized robotic vehicle, and their focus is in these virtual worlds, like a virtual reality headset you never can take off. People born into this reality would not even consider the possibility of being in a virtual reality within a simulation, and those that transitioned into it in this lifetime, if unaware and thus programmed, and far more so through their robotic vehicles, they could easily be made to forget a kind of mechanical induced Alzheimer's, as an example. They can no longer perceive the physical level that their robotic vehicles reside in. They perceive now this new virtual world, and in essence then they are technically another literal level removed from the is, a hypothetical life level number 6. Based on this, we can see that the perpetuation of these virtual realities are dependent on the maintenance of the robotic vehicles on the now redundant physical life level. Unless the physical level vehicle is destroyed, the individual cannot return to the astral and then move on to the next position. And so we have robotic vehicles which could theoretically self-repair if nano-infused, and could be indefinite in their durations. And these virtual realities that stem from the robot bodies be likewise just as eternal. It's possible that if an individual was dispatched in the labyrinth of this experience, yes, they may be gone from that position, but if their robot vehicle remains on the physical, then they'd simply be rebooted and returned back to the same virtual reality again. Unless an individual transitions to the astral, they cannot assume a different lifetime and position. And considering how locked down these realities are, there appeared little room for consideration beyond that which the realities comprised of, so things would be fairly static. There would be no change in collective ideas and agreement to them that afforded experience to move things along. And would these virtual reality worlds even operate with the same cause and effect principle as currently is in effect in the creational simulation? Do the computer games we play have cause and effect going on there? Not exactly, as whatever we decide within a game is limited according to the programmed parameters, and the parameters are decided by those that built it. We can want things and desire things in our computer games, but unlike creation, it is not a reflective bubble, and cause and effect will not provide us with the experience that flows from our desires.